Okay, so now we've got all the items in our store, but our store doesn't look like a store yet. In fact, that's what it looks like. That's just the default with everything we got so far. Not very store-like. Let's change that. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to literally transform our site, which is a blank slate right now. We've got all the products, we've got all the configuration. Azon Authority is working behind the scenes, but now let's present everything to the public. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to come into the PB theme, and what we're going to do here is we have given you a very, very powerful and flexible theme along with Profit Builder Lite, and with this you can literally create almost anything. So what we need to do is kind of enhance our brand and get everything put together. And right now it comes with a default logo, which is for Profit Builder, because this is, well, the Profit Builder theme. So what we need to do is we need to remove those and upload our own. We can also do the same with all of the icons. And if you have a logo ready, you can start loading up an icon for your logo, Fab icon. It's also, this has a mobile mode, so if someone comes to view it on a iPad or iPhone, it can actually add a bookmark to your desktop like it's an app. So we've got all that cool stuff in here. And just if you're looking to create a real brand, go hire, you can either create a logo yourself or hire a graphics designer. A place I like to go, Graphic River. And say, for example, I put in the word dog and I go over to logo templates. I might find something I kind of like, and I can use that as a basis for a logo or something like that for our store. In fact, I did that, and I threw it, actually, you know what, let me close this down, it's FTP, but I did that, and I created a very quick image called the dog store, because man's best friend is awesome, and just created a little logo just like that, based off of what I found here. In fact, that's it right there, see that? So I just took that, downloaded it, threw a name, put it to the side of it, and off I went. Now, if you don't have, you can use GIMP, you can use Photoshop, or you can hire someone to do it for you for a few bucks. I mean, you could find someone on Fiverr to do it for you if you wanted to. And you'll find on Fiverr, for example, people who will create you a custom logo, they will create you banners, headers, whatever you want. And honestly, this is what separates the men from the boys here. This is what separates the people who are serious about their business or people who just don't care. And I want you to be one of the people who take your business seriously, because that's what's going to separate you from the successful and the failed, the profitable and the non-profitable. You need to take some time with your branding. So I just threw this together very quickly, and literally all I did was grab that and just, in fact, I think I actually have the PSD open over here. Let me just see, just to show you. All I did was put the graphic in there, put some text next to it, and you can see this is just in the layer here. Boom, 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 done. Simple as that. Saved it as a JPEG, and you're good to go. Now, very, very quick. Didn't really take much effort to do that. And we do actually say, hey, recommend a size for your banner. So I'm just going to go select that. I'm actually just going to drag and drop that in. Now, the size we're using here is 407. Well, it's basically 80 pixels tall. Just keep it kind of short, under 400 or 400 or so, and you should be good. So I'm just going to select that there. Okay, and I'm just going to assign the same one to both, and we should be good. I'm just going to choose normal, and it says here, Retina, use 80 pixels in height, but it will resize it dynamically. If you want to use large, you can go bigger, but these kind of give you the recommended sizes. I'm going to not use a fab icon at this stage. You can add one or create one. Maybe you just use, for example, in this case, I'd use the dog's head or something like that, and it tells you all the different sizes for those. In this case, not going to worry about it right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep checking the homepage to see the differences this makes on the homepage. So right now, that, if I refresh that, that's changed the logo. So we're one step closer to branding, okay? Now we've got lots of other cool stuff in here. So what we're going to do is let's compare it to, say, for example, the zombie demo store that we were talking about earlier on. I'm going to show you, we have a couple of wee things going on. Actually, let me just do it down here. So you can see across the top we have a call us, we have the cart, we have the translator, okay, which automatically translates all of our stuff. We have all the categories, the shop, the contact us, we have the search, we have all these categories. So this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to focus on and kick into high gear. So a little different from this. So let's focus first of all on the top menu up here, putting the cart up there. We'll change some of this around so we've got the correct categories, and then we're going to make a nice home page, and then we'll dig inside. So coming back over to our actual site itself, I must have closed down that page while I was clicking around like crazy there. So let's go back to PB theme options. And what we're going to do now is we're going to work on the header and the footer. So in each of these sections, you can see I've kind of, with this logo, I've kind of created an orange look and feel. So we're going to come over here and we can turn off and use Google fonts and any kind of font we like if we want to, for a little bit of stylization. For header fonts, maybe for example, I'll use, okay, Roboto Condensed. And maybe for the body font, I'll leave it with Arial. That's fine. I can choose which is my primary color. Well, right now the primary color is kind of green. That's the default, but we wanted a kind of hot orange. So I'm going to choose, and let's move it into the oranges a little bit. In and around there. Actually, let's move it a little hotter. And there we go. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm kind of a geek, so I know a lot of these colors off the top of my head. I'm going to go with a hot orange like that. So okay, but you can use the color picker. So there's that, and we'll go through all the other different elements here as well. We do have a custom contact form system, so you can choose and modify contacts and team members if you want to, and add that. You don't have to. We do have a custom CSS area. If you know what you're doing, you can customize and add some elements in there. But let's go over to layout. Now this is the header, and we have two sections. Now we have the left side and the right side. And if I just bring this one back up here, this is the left obviously, and we've got the language one there, and we've got the cart and the call us over there. And the way we do that is actually we just drag and drop items down. So for example, there's the language bar, and if you wanted, other elements, you can. But over here on the right hand side, let's choose the login cart, and we're going to use, this is a sneaky way to do this, but we'll use the tagline alt. Now, you might not want to put your phone number up there. You might, I don't know. You might want to put something else up there as a way to contact us, or network icons or something like that for social sharing. All sorts of different ways you can do that. So what we can do there is, for example, come down here, and you see the tagline alt. That's this section here, and we can put something like call 12345678990. Okay, I'm just throwing that in as a demo. So boom, done. And that adds the header. Now you can also, if you have a contact, you can use what's called your first contact. You can do that from the contact section I just mentioned, and you can add different networks in there. So in fact, let's go do that real quick. I'll save that. I'll come back to general contact settings, and then we'll edit this person's contact information. We'll remove their information. We'll call this site contact, just so we can get a better name. We'll add a social network. Maybe you'd add your social network up there, no problem. And we'll add, let's say, white Twitter. Actually, you'll probably want to change that to the black set. We've got the dark set if you're on a white background. So there we go. And we'll change that to dark Twitter. And that's in there somewhere. Okay, there we go. and we'll add another one. Maybe we've got YouTube or something like that, no problem. And we'll go ahead and save those. Okay. That should be cool. So going back over to layout and header, we can add those network icons if we wanted to, and boom, we're good to go. So you can also add different header layouts, widgets at the top of the page. Those appear kind of, if I click this up here, it's like a hidden little kind of thing if you wanted to. We've got so many options in this theme. You can play around with this and create any style you like. And like I said, it's going to take you a while to play around with the things and find the things you really want to do and have fun with and everything else. So I do encourage you to play around with those. You can do different items. You can have hide featured image or on. This is for actual if you use a blog, which honestly is a great marketing tool because you can create viral content that gets indexed and then insert items underneath your blog posts. That's cool. So there's all sorts of configuration options. We'll come back to that when we look at the blog. There's also the footer settings. Very similar type thing. You can have widget areas. You can disable the widgets if you want to at the bottom, on or off, whatever you want to do. In the case of the zombie store, for example, we added like recent posts, a couple of banners, and a contact us. You can do whatever you like. Now, you can also add your terms of service, which you should have, privacy policies, and there's plenty of good plugins out there. WP Legal pages will allow you to do that. And remember, we also talked about the compliance footer. That's where that will come in useful. So what we can do here is if we go to open up Azon Authority settings in a new window. Again, you want to make sure you're fully compliant. So this is where this all comes in. We'll get that compliance notice right there. Copy that. Again, I can't make you use it. I recommend you do, but there you go. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay, so footer tagline, and we'll add that to the alt. So that's that one there. Boom, done. You can also add in your footer menu if you want to. So that maybe you assign a menu. We'll get to the menus in a few moments. And then on the left-hand side, maybe you also want to go to the top. But you know what? Let me do this. Let me think of the best way to do this. I'll put that over there, and I'll put this one over here. And you might also have taglines, so you've got a copyright notice. For example, and copy the Pet Store Inc. or something like that, if that's your company. 2015, the Pet Store Inc. So there we go. Now again, let's save those changes and see how we're looking so far for our site. So just refresh. Okay. And already we're doing some major things. Now we've got the language bar up there. We haven't assigned the languages here. You can see we got the cart is empty. We've got our little social media. We got our call. Maybe we want to rearrange the order. I'm not quite happy with the order of that, so I'll come back over to layout, header, and let's rearrange that. Let's put the cart on the end. It's kind of like reverse order. So we'll do that. Save that. And again, we'll just see what's going on here. That should move the cart to the end. Nope, it didn't change a thing. Is that because I didn't save? Might be just because yeah, there we go. Didn't save in time. So there we go. We're starting to get some formation at the top. Let's work on this language bar. This is where things really get cool because we actually have a very powerful translation system. Now, here's the thing. We're using a plugin called Transposh, and it has a few little things with it that allow you to create your language translation. So we go to Advanced, choose Language Settings, enable the Transposh element, save that because we automatically detect whether you've got that. But you need to kind of select which languages you want to support. So let's come over to Transposh. Again, this is a third-party plugin. And what it does, it uses several translation services to automatically support whatever you've got going on. So let's go over to languages. And we'll select 5 languages just for simple. There's a free version and a pro version. So I'm going to use just the free version right now. The pro version is actually free, but you have to jump through a couple of hoops to get it. So I'm just going to keep it as the base version. So I'm going to choose Spanish, French, if I can see it. I'll choose Portuguese as well, Italian, and I'm going to try and find the French, but I cannot see it. Oh, there we go, Francais. Okay, so I've just chosen 5 languages. Choose Save Changes. That's cool. And the default language is English, but you can drag another one up there if you want to. Now let's go to Settings. Now you really don't have to do much with this, but there's a couple of really nice features in here that allow you to have a little bit of search engine optimization. So what we're going to do here is you can allow upgrading to the full version. I'm going to do that. They've got a feature in here that allows automatic translation and also user-based translation. I suggest you turn that off. So I'm going to go through these settings real quick. Allow the search of translated languages, so we'll leave that on. Who can translate? Only the administrator. Will just in case we ever accidentally turn it off. Enable overriding of local WP Lang. We'll leave that on. You can play around with these. Enable integration of Transposh with language files. Entirely up to you. Here's what I do though. Rewrite URLs on. This allows you to have multiple versions. Now this is a really powerful tactic. This allows you to have multiple versions of your store translated. So now we have the English store, we have the French store, we have the German version, and it basically puts the language tag on the end. So if you've got say on your site /dog training, now you have /DE /dog training, or whatever the German version of that would be. So now you basically have, for every language you support, you have a new store in that language. Now, I'm going to be honest. Automated translation is not efficient translation. It's not going to be perfect, but it does open up a few new borders for you, especially with the geo-targeting built into our ASON authority system. It's very, very cool, and you can play around with that. Now, there's another feature here, auto-detect language for users, because we look to see basically where they are in the world and try and automatically switch the language of the store to them, which is pretty cool. Add the scripts to the footer. That's good for speed, so I would suggest that you do that as well. Okay, so I'm going to save changes there, just so we got all that taken care of. Now this video might be a wee bit longer because now we're gonna do a little bit of design and kind of bringing everything together. By the time we're done with this video, your store will be ready to launch. So let's have a look at the translation engines. And we got a few little things here. You can basically leave this alone. You can actually, I was going to say there's nothing actually you can do here or need to do. One system, again, this is entirely up to you. This is for very high-end translation. But there's a system called 1 hour translation that will, if you have a license name and a key, it actually pushes any post you make over to their system and they will perfectly translate it into any language you want. You probably don't need it for this store, but I'm just mentioning that feature is there. Okay, I've never used it in this environment. You don't need it for what you're doing here, but if you use this plugin on another site, it's actually really cool. Okay, widget settings. We're not actually using the widget. Okay. I just want to make sure there's anything here. No, we don't need anything there. Let's go under advanced. Okay. I'm just reading this because my brain has forgotten some of this stuff. No, I think this is all cool. utilities, and I think this is the last one I want to look at. I just want to double check everything for you. No, I think we are all good. Okay, so now what we can do, I think with that all set, if we come back over here, we should see over here a new widget pop up with languages. So there we go, there's English, and there's our different languages that we set. Now I'm just going to test it. I'm going to test Portuguese, and we'll see that. Okay, and we'll see everything there. Okay, automatically translated. Now, one thing we haven't got, I noticed that it's not got the permalinks working right. So what we'll do is we just want to make sure that we've set our permalinks. Didn't think we did that at the beginning, so I'm just going to come over here. You might have already done this yourself, but we'll just choose post name, and I'm looking at the permalink base and the products. Actually, I'm going to choose product there. Okay, cool. Okay, that I think will be fine. Now what will happen is, let's go over there and test this again. I'm just going to refresh, because I want to make sure that we get our / like German / everything else. So let's go to the French version. This should change to /FR. There we go. And you see it takes a second to translate the page. There we go. So it's automatically translated. That's pretty cool. Okay, so now we're good. Let's go back to English, and we're good to go. So, okay, now our header is now come together. We've got our logo. Let's actually change our menu here. So we're going to go to Appearance and Menus, and we're just going to modify a couple of things. So we have to create a default menu. Okay, so create a new menu. We'll call it Main, and it's added a default here. So okay. We'll add that to the primary header, and then we're just going to add the checkout, the cart, the shop, and then if we want to, we can add a contact form later on and everything else. But let's also create the shop categories. Now here's the thing, a lot of people don't realize that there's actually a few options under here. So click Screen Options, and then we can get the product categories, and then a couple of other things. We can also change link targets, WooCommerce endpoints, and things like that if we want to. We can also see if there's anything else here. I think that's good. Or we can also link to individual products and posts as well. You can see that activates all sorts of really cool stuff under here. So let's just quickly save that. I want to back that up before we do anything else. So now what we'll do is we'll create a link, and we'll just put that as a hashtag, and we'll just put categories. This is going to be a parent menu. Okay, so we got our categories there. We'll put our checkout as last, and we'll call that view cart. Okay, now the categories, let's just get all our product categories. We can see view all, select all, add them. And what we'll do is that'll add them all to our menu. That's a lot of categories there. So what we'll do now is we're just going to drop those under. You can see you can indent them. We'll do it in order. Carriers and travel. Now we're going to do some really cool graphic stuff in this. Okay, dog toys, dog training, doors and gates. You know, we probably should put this in alphabetical order, which I think it is. I think it's trying to do that in alphabetical order. Okay, I was thinking about toys being last, but I'm dyslexic, so okay, sale items. That's cool. And then we're going to do a thing here, because we have a pretty cool little system where we can split this up into, well, we've got 14 categories. So let me think about that for a second. Okay, well, let's do that as 5 items. Okay, and we'll not put a sidebar on it, and we'll make it full width. Okay, so let's have a look again. Save that, and then we'll see how that looks. Okay, we'll make everything come alive in just a moment. Okay, so it's added. I must have missed a couple, but let's have a look. Okay, coming together, coming together quite nicely. Okay, so I've missed two. Okay, dog treats. Okay. I'm getting click happy. And okay, put that in there. Perfect. Okay, save it one more time. Sometimes you have to go back and forth and just see what you're looking at and everything else. But that's coming together quite nicely. So we got the head here done. And yeah, that's not too bad. Maybe I'll add one more category. I'll find something to add just so that's the OCD in me. I don't like having a gap where there shouldn't be a gap. But now we've got the head done. We've kind of got the footer done as well. You can see that there. Okay. So, okay, I'm liking this. Haven't put anything in the base yet, but I'm not too worried about that right now. Let's actually now make a beautiful, sexy homepage. Now, to do that, we're going to create a page. And let's go to all pages. And we've got some items here that we don't really need. We're going to leave the cart and the checkout. We have the shop. Let's actually, that's kind of like a default. In fact, I'm going to show you that in a second. I'm just going to delete these. We don't need the My Account, so I'm just going to move those to trash. But if we go to the shop page, I just want to show you what it looks like. This is automatically going to pull all the items out of your store. But you can see we've got no sidebar, and we've got a few other things going on. But we're getting the basis of everything. But it's not quite there, okay? So again, what we're going to do here is I'm actually going to add a new plugin. And actually what I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm going to add a new page. Let me do that. We're going to call that home, okay? Or let's see, we'll call it the dog store, okay? Now, with everything we got going on here, there's lots we can do. I'm going to show you all of this in a second. We're just going to create, this is going to be our home page, okay? We're going to use Profit Builder to build that up. But I want to redirect this page to our home page. So whenever they click on the shop, they go straight to the home page. The reason for that is it just helps to redirect that stuff so people don't end up in the wrong place, okay? So we're going to add a new plugin, and it's in the free repository. It's called Page Links 2. Now this allows you to do some really cool internal redirecting. And we'll just grab that, install that. And there's probably a few other items that we will add as we go. But we're just going to keep the basics. You can add and do so much with this. But we'll add some more. In the next video, we'll kind of wrap things up and get ready to promote. But okay. Oh, here, and it's prompting us for the upgraded of the full version. Let's just do that. Okay, actually, I need to click update now. And that will download it from their own little repository. Okay, so now we get the full version. And we should have... That way you could, if you want to add more than 5 languages, you absolutely can. So page links to, okay, great. So we're going to come back to all pages. And we're going to click on the edit for the shop, and we're going to redirect it to this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, a custom URL, and in actuality what we're going to do here is we're going to redirect it to our core site, like that. Okay, so update, and then what we're going to do from there is we're going to come to settings, we're going to go to reading, because now we're going to make that page, that blank page we created, our home page. And then everything's going to go to that one place. So we're going to choose a static page, the dog store, and save changes. So now if we open up, if we refresh this, we won't see this little section here. We'll see a blank page. Okay? Great. Now, you can click, well, actually, let's go back to edit page here. This will load the Profit Builder launcher, but we want to make sure a couple of little things. We're going to come down on the side here, And you'll see with this theme, you have lots of kind of little features and options. So we can choose to remove the page padding, and we're going to leave everything else enabled. There's lots and lots of other settings here. For example, image backgrounds, video backgrounds. We're not going to worry about that right now. If you want to use, for example, retargeting, you can put retargeting pixels in here. We got so much power in this thing. It is amazing, but we're just going to keep it simple for now. And we'll dismiss that notice. And now we're actually going to build our home page. So we're going to click on Profit Builder here. Let's get rid of that little notice. And then click Edit Page. And now what this is going to do, this is going to load our powerful drag and drop builder so we can make our home page and our store kind of sexy. So it takes just a moment, and this is Profit Builder. Now you can see here we've got the ability to drag and drop lots of items. So I'm going to literally go through this, play around with this, and like I say, and I've said it several times, but I'm going to say it again, it's going to take you a while to get used to this system. There's a lot of power here. I do encourage you to play around with it and see what you can do. It's very, very powerful, but like I say, like with anything, it's a little bit of a learning curve, but when you get used to it, you'll see how powerful it is. So I'm going to whiz through it. Follow along with me. If you want to, load this video next to your store as you're doing it, and I'll kind of give you a rundown. So basically the way that we build pages or store faces and everything else is by adding rows and elements to those rows. So first let's start with the heading. If you can look over here, for example, you can see we've got a nice big heading, then a title, then some items. We got a ton of stuff in here. So we're going to try and replicate this, okay? So first of all, coming back over here, we're going to add a row. That's going to be our top row. And you can see every time you create an element or a row, you've got some settings. So in this case, I'm going to do something. My thought is that for dogs, orange is kind of bright, but if we do a combination of orange and the grays and everything else, I think that'll be pretty cool. So we're going to leave this top bar. We're going to let's make that black. Let's make that dark, kind of like the gray in this part here. So we're going to come down here to background. I'm going to make the color gray. So I can use the color picker here, in fact, and I can choose a medium gray, and I'll try and match that. Yeah, you know what? Let's just make it black. Okay, so there's a black background. Okay, fine. Now I want to kind of think about if I want to add a title bar. Now here's the funny thing. I actually created a graphic earlier on. I'm just going to throw it in real quick and I'll show you this. So I actually created, for example, a dog banner like that. So I just made that. I can't remember what size that was now. I just made that. It took me like 2 seconds. 1130 by 300. Okay. So I'm just going to save that as a JPEG. And what we're going to do, I'll just show you adding a image. So dog store banner. Now, if you've got the Launchpad system, there's actually a banner generator over there with the Pro version of that. So you can drag and drop and create whatever you want. But I just made that, like I said, in Photoshop. Took me no time at all. But play around with different settings and whatever you like, and you're all good to go. So okay, so we'll minimize that. I've got that. So I'm going to click on the plus button here, and I'm going to click image. Now you can see there's no coding here. This is designed to make your life as easy as possible. So again, just play around with it. You can just drag and drop elements from the left over here. You roll over it. If I, for example, I'll remove that item, and I'll just grab the image. You've got lots of groups over here. You've got your products. You can add videos, features, audio, contact forms, sliders, or featured posts. I mean, literally anything you can imagine. So we're going to do a few of those things. The first thing I'm going to do, though, as I mentioned, is I'm going to add an image. So I'm going to drag that in there. Now, it throws in a default loaded image, but obviously we want our own. So over here, you can see for every item, there's options. So in this case, upload. And I'm going to go grab that banner that I just created. So I'm going to go to my desktop where I had that. And I'm going to drag that in. You can see it right there. Actually, you know what? That's kind of big. That's a PNG. Let me actually save that as a JPEG. So save for web, and didn't realize I saved it as that. So save it as a JPEG. Use JPEGs where possible. They're a lot smaller. And okay, let's do that again. Minimize that. So I'm just gonna, you can see I've got it over here. I'm just gonna grab dog top banner, boom, and select that. Okay, and Bob's your uncle. That should go in there. Okay, you can see there's a mismatch between the color, the black, and the background. So we'll just come over here. That should be jet black, but I didn't quite do that. So, okay, you know what? Whoops. Helps if I pick the right color. There we go. And then under each item, when it adds it, there's a little spacing. You see we got a little under general, there's a little spacing under there. I want that to be flush, so I'll make that 0. And that should, there we go, create our first part of our store. Okay, great. Now let's add another row. And I'm going to make this a title row, so we're going to kind of use the same orange. Let's give it a little bit of contrast. So custom column background, we want the background here. And I'm going to use the same color orange I did earlier on. And what we'll do from there is let's add a title. So let's say grab heading, drag that in there. You can see how you can drop it above and below an item you've already done, or drag it into an area. There we go. We'll do that. And with every item there are configuration options. So for example, let's change this to white. Let's centralize it. You can see text alignment here, so we can make that centered. And we can add, for example, let's add a little bit of padding up here, top and bottom. So this is for the row. We can remove the bottom padding on the actual item itself. And with all of these, you do have, with the text elements, you can have some great control of the editor and everything else. So let's just think. I'm trying to think what to put in here. Because dogs, let's just make this dogs rock. We have the best items for your dog. Okay. And we'll make that bold. We'll make that italic, we'll make that bold, and that should be good. Now what will happen, everything automatically updates as you edit it, so you can see there you go. Okay, cool. Now let's add another column there, and this time we're going to go to the PB theme WooCommerce, and we can actually go to the WooCommerce extension there. We'll do product categories, and we're going to come back and change this part in a few moments. But you can see it's got 2 items and rows of 2. That's okay, but we need to we got a lot of categories. We got 14 categories. Let's say that we'll find another way to make column 15, because I'm trying to think of the way to do this the best way. So let me think. 5, we'll do 5 by 3. We got a lot of categories. And what will happen is it'll start thinking about all the different items. Actually, I need to do 15, and it'll automatically split it. I had to think about that for a second. Okay, so there we go. That's a lot of categories and items, but maybe we'll just stick with 10, and we can order them by either name or what have you. So you can see though we've got some items that carry up on 2 rows, so maybe we'll just change it around. We'll do the 4 by 8, and that'll give us a little more room. Let's see how that flows. Okay, actually that works better. We've only got one that's slightly mismatched there. We'll go, and you notice I'm doing this here. I'm adding column, the row height. This kind of creates a nice kind of spacing. But again, I'm just trying to think about. I get OCD about this part. I don't like having one that is just like that when all the others are not. And you'll notice that we haven't got any images for these category headers. We'll get to that in a moment. But 4x4, you know, let's go back to this. We're going to add 12 in there. Let's do that. That way we get 3 rows. And now we're really starting to form, take shape and look like a store. But I'm still that one's still bugging me. I'll come back to that one. Otherwise, I will get totally ACDC, ADHD, and OCD. There you go. So that's I've just made up a new syndrome there. All good fun. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here as well. And again, this is where the fine tuning comes in. I'm going to use a custom font. That kind of tightens it up a little bit. I like to tighten up the letting on some items. It just starts creating a little more professional, pulled together look and feel. And you can see that's actually starting to look pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to save that. So you can come up here and save it. And we can now do a couple of things. I like this header style that we've created here. I'm looking at these other items. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click. If you roll over any of these buttons, it'll tell you what it does. So in this case, we're going to clone it. And we're going to drag it to the bottom. And we've got a new section now, so that's cool. And we'll just say, let's talk about dog training items. So let's see, dog training essentials. Just for when they need a little guidance. And I'm looking at you, Sparky, my dog, who is behind me while I'm recording the training here. She's looking at me like I'm innocent, damn it. So, okay, there we go. And what did I do? Oops, I moved the wrong one. I edited the wrong one. So I'll move that down here and I'll move that one back up. You see how this is why I love this system. That's why we built this system, because it allows you to drag and drop and do all sorts of cool stuff. So I'm gonna add another row. Now you can add multiple different styles, side by side rows and things like that. It just happens that I am creating this single page setup. So what we're gonna do here is just gonna choose products. And we're going to choose products from a particular category. So we talked about dog training. So let's choose from our categories here and find the dog training. That's house training. Okay, dog training. And then we can order by whatever we want. But let's actually add, okay, number of items. If we're going to do, let's see, 3. Let's actually do 5 and see how that looks. And then we'll add, we can do 10 items, and that'll give us 2 rows, or we can just do 1 row, but let's see how that looks. Okay, so you can see that's all there. Well, you know, let's just do 1 row. And we'll play that way. Okay, so you can see this is automatically populating from your database, and no hassles, and no mucking around. That's what we like. So, okay, let's add a couple more things in here. So, okay, that's dog training. Now let's put some fun stuff, some toys or something like that. So again, I'll duplicate that row, pop that down there. We'll edit that. You can see it just makes things so much easier when you're doing this. So, toys and other fun stuff. Because dogs like to goof off as much as you do. See, I like to do little kind of dorky kind of titles because they're fun. And if you're doing something that's a fun site, then, you know, hey, why not? Now, it might be, okay, that's a little long, so we can come back in, obviously, and edit that. Toys, let's just call toys and fun stuff. And that should give us enough back to 1 row. And cool. Let's add new row, a new item. And you can see how quickly you can put all this together. Let's have a look at the other side here and see what we can have. Recent products, featured products. If you want to set in WooCommerce featured products, you can choose individual products you want to showcase. No problem. You can do it that way. Let's see, product slider. Let's do that. And we have to select a category. So let's see, dog toys. And I have to find the dog toys. There we go. Almost went right past it. Okay. Per page, let's say 5. And boom. Okay, we've got 4 columns. Yeah, let's choose that to change that to 4 products then. And that should be good. And you can choose by either comment count, by title, or just random. I'm just going to choose random. And boom. And you can see that that's doing its thing. That's all cool. And, you know, just trying to think if we could do something else here. You know what? No, that's fine. I think that's fine. We'll keep rocking with that. Okay. And then we'll do one last setup. We'll do some sale items. And see what's going on here. So, on sale now. Let's see. Because, well, let's not start with because. Great items, great prices every single day. Okay. And then we'll add one more row. You can see you can just keep going with this. Let's choose some sale items. And as things are updating, you can add from the database straight away. And we'll order that again by, let's see, random. And be good to go. We'll add a little padding on top of that. And yeah, there you go. There's your front end of your store right there. Now, we're looking pretty tight. I like that. Let's actually have a look and go to our shop, which now redirects to our homepage. So we got rid of this ugly thing, which is default. But now we got a pretty good looking little store. And you can see that's really bright. It's compelling. It's the only thing is this section here. Now, to fix this, you know, I am gonna get my OCDC, ACDC, whatever the hell I said earlier on, in overdrive. I'm going to go over to products, categories, and we're just going to put that as, I'm going to change that. But this is also the section where we make a couple of other changes as well. So we'll just call it dog gear. Or actually, let's just say dog. Do we say dog accessories? Yeah, just call it dog accessories. There we go. Now that should bring that out. But you notice here, we can add an image to these categories. Now, this is where it kind of gets a little bit fun, and it's entirely up to you how you do this. This is how I would do it. I would go get some stock photography of the subject. Now, in this case, we're talking about dogs. So I'd go over to somewhere like Deposit Photos, where you can get either a cheap subscription, or you can pay like $1 an image, or you can find another source. There's a few other great sources, but I have a subscription here, so I'm just going to go search for dog. Okay, and what I might do, this is where I got some of my other images from. You might recognize this little puppy here. See that guy right there? That's the guy right there, just flipped around. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, see if we can find some keywords that match. So for example, the first category, let's see, dog jacket. Okay, let's think about the keywords. I want to find if we can see anything that we can throw into that. Okay, that's one embarrassed looking dog. So okay, cool, let's do that. Okay, so you don't need the big one, but this is how I'll set this up. For example, I will do an image, and you can do this in GIMP, Photoshop, or what have you. 250 by 250. Okay, I like to keep them square. It makes life easy. I'm just going to show you how I do this. So I'll grab an image. Okay, and I'll just get it like that. Copy it. I'll try and get the squarer images, because what I do is I paste them into something like this. I'll resize them until they fit, and I'll try and position it as best I can. I don't want to squash it. I want to keep it at the right aspect ratio, and if you can, use a white background. If you're predominantly white on your site, you want to use white as a background. The reason being is that way you can fill them in. You can fill in and scale things into the middle. See, before it wasn't quite fitting, so that way I can now scale it down and I can kind of position it as I see fit so that it's kind of centered. Guess what? Now I've got it. So now I can save that as a JPEG, and I'll just call it dog accessories, just so I've got it. So when I'm doing that, I can come back over here to the categories. I can edit this category. Okay. Now this part again takes a little while, but it's well worth it because it's what separates you from everyone else that's not making the effort. Guess what? You're making the money, they're not. You've got to take this seriously, it's a real business, and you want to stand out from the crowd. So, okay, so I'm just going to do that, and then I'm going to update that. Okay, I'm actually going to shut down some of these other tabs because we don't need them. So now that you see that's dog accessories has now been added, and if we refresh this page, and Bob's your uncle, dog accessories, okay, cool. So there we go. Now we've got one. I'm going to go and do the others. Again, I'll just do it again just to show you. Dog bed, for example, for the first category there. Do a quick search. That's cool, but it's not exactly our product. But you have to think is what is visually appealing. For example, that's funny, and adding a little humor. Again, you're kind of bonding, and if you make your customers smile, then you're doing great. And there's another great one that's, again, a funny shot. But again, let's think about our customers, and okay, that is actually funny as hell. I love that. That's beautiful. But yeah, okay, let me see. I'm just scanning the page here. What is going to appeal? And I kind of like that, but I like that as well. Okay, let's go with that one. So again, I'm just going to choose that. I don't need it needs to be bigger than the area I'm in, so 424 by 283, that's fine. And you can do ones that don't have a white background. You can do anything you like. But for those ones that, again, you've got to fit it in the box, basically. So you might go through a few iterations. You might even have to crop things a little funny, like this one. It's not quite fitting, see that? But I can squeeze that one down a little bit. I want to keep the aspect ratio. In other words, I don't want to squish it. Do not squish it because you'll make it look terrible, and it also cheapens the look of your site. So you just want to keep things, the aspect ratio right. So just say dog bed. So I've got that one. Again, coming back over to our store, and I'll just go to beds and furniture, edit. Take that just a moment. Okay, upload an image. Again, going over to my desktop where I saved that. Drag that in. And you can see that's saved. Let's go over here again, and you can see that's updated right there. Great. Now, if you don't want to go that route with getting nice kind of studio shots from here, the other way you can do it is actually directly from the categories themselves. For example, carriers and travel. Let's open that up in a new tab, that actual category. And because our system is automatically pulling in images from Amazon, you can actually take a product shot, which are usually studio shots as well, and pick an item that suits. For example, now we're going to get to pretty this up in a little while, but maybe there's this one here, for example, the American Kennel Club seat. So we'll have a look at that. And what you can do is you can right click one of the images that kind of suits, and yet they're usually cropped square anyway. Save image as, and what you can do is save it just to your desktop. So for example, I already saved this one, dog carriers, and then you can go back to the actual edit product category if you want to. This is another kind of easy way to do it. Add upload image, grab the image, from your desktop. In this case, you can see I'm a Star Wars fan, by the way, with a Boba Fett background on my desktop, but there you go. Drag it in, and that's a very fast way to do it as well. So again, I'll use that image, update it. Takes just a few moments, and you'll be good to go. So okay, there's another one. So again, you can refresh there. So again, while we're using studio shots here, you can actually use products in your store to kind of populate it. But you can see getting a nice look and feel to the store. So I'm going to take a few moments. I'm going to do the rest of these, and then we'll come back and wrap up this video and do the internal of the store as well. Okay, so we are done with all of those categories. You can see I've populated all of those right there. It didn't take long. I also threw in terms of use, privacy policy, and a contact us form just to keep everything kind of linked up and nice. It didn't take too long. Used a plugin for that called, I have to remember now what it's called. 2 seconds, I'll come over here. Oh yeah, Auto TOS. So Auto Terms of Service and Privacy Policy, that generated that for me. And that was it. Created that, added it to a menu. And then under Appearance and Theme Options, I just added the footer menu. So see footer settings here. And I just selected footer menu, which is the one I just created with those 3 items in it. And you can see that's already added there. Good to go. And rocking on from that. So you can see also I added a little copyright symbol there because I used a shortcode for that. It was wrong. So a little HTML shortcode, but there you go. There, just to make sure that's right. So we're kind of on the front end looking pretty sexy. Now we just got to do one last thing, is when we actually go into the site itself. Now we're going to set a few little last things in the theme, and we're pretty much ready to open the doors. So you can see right now it's kind of all bunched up on each other. It's not very good in that regard. So we need to kind of spread things out, give us a little more room to play with, and populate the sidebar with some store options. So first of all, we'll come back in here. We'll go to WooCommerce, and we'll select 3 columns, and we'll make this 15. Now if we do that, that's going to give us some nice kind of sidebars there. Everything else can kind of stay as it is, but we're also going to enable sharing on Facebook, sharing by email. That turns on some social sharing on the actual product pages themselves. And then we can also decide how big we want to make the sidebars, whether we want to allow sidebars on the archives, and which position we want them in. I'm going to put the sidebars on the right, and then I'm going to do the same with the actual products themselves. And we actually, you know what, we'll turn off the sidebar on that. We'll leave that off. That should be good. And then the other thing you can do, and this is something really cool as well that we added in here, is you can actually add widget positions below and above the products and the categories themselves. So if you wanted to include a banner, for example, making an announcement and put it across your store or across products, you have now spaces available to put those widgets in. So I'm going to go over to widgets here. And what we're going to do is, you'll see now that we've got some new positions. So shop archives before, after, single products before and after. We have the WooCommerce archives before and after. And then we've got the blog as well. So if you, and I do suggest you use the blog and post some stuff, but you can see it's already populated some of these items. We don't need a lot of these. You can set them up as you see fit. But I'm just going to put, okay, categories. Let's see what else we got in here. We added a few really cool widgets in here. So you could, for example, add, follow us on social media. And then you can add the ones you like. For example, while we're in here, we may as well just do this. So let's see. I'll add new. And we'll say Facebook. Actually, we can rearrange these. We'll add Twitter. And we'll add, let's see what else. Maybe we've got a Pinterest channel. Maybe we've got a Google Plus. Maybe we've got a YouTube channel. Whatever we want to share and however we want to do it, that's cool. It's all in here. And I'm just going to put in, I'm not going to put in real URLs right now. we'll just do that, save that. Okay, so I'll just say, okay, follow us, and cool. And then maybe I've got categories there. Maybe I don't want those. Maybe I want, let me think. We've got several different options we can do here. So if we're in a category, we can do popular posts or something like that, or recent posts. Yeah, let's do recent posts. That way we got the different areas we can do. Okay, that's cool. And yeah, that's pretty cool. And we can add, if you want, you can add ads up here or banners or what have you. But what we're going to do now is add in the actual items for the actual store itself. So we've got several different widgets we can add. For example, we could add in the price filter. Let's see, recently viewed. That can be useful if you want to have people see what they've looked at recently. We can do layered nav, or what you could do is you could throw a whole ton of these in here and just see what you think. And you can choose which ones you want. There's a product search. We should put that at the top. Product tags or recent reviews. Recently viewed, we've already got in there. If you want, you can add in the cart itself if you want to. I don't generally do that. I like them to not know how many products they've got in their cart until afterwards. But let's also do some products as well. We can filter that by on sale or something like that. So you can say sale items. Now the thing is, you've also got to consider hide free products. Okay, hide that. Order by random. And okay, that should be cool. Now the problem is that you're gonna have you're gonna have too big a sidebar if you add too much in here. So you've got to consider how many products you're going to load and what kind of density that's going to be. So let me just refresh this, and you can see what will happen here is suddenly we got everything here. Okay. So right now we got nothing in the cart. Let's add an item to the cart. And you can see that does show. Okay, there we go. So it does, we can play around with the products. I'm just seeing how this is looking. We've got way too many products in there. Recently viewed products, that's got way too many in there. But yeah, you know what? Let's remove the cart. Although it does give you a summary you can remove and add items from there. I do like the fact we got the sale items. Okay, there's an image broken there, which is interesting. That should not be, but we'll, we can go through some of this. Recently viewed, we need to limit that. So, it kind of gives me an idea of what I need and what I don't need. So I'm going to come back in here. So we'll put the price filter all the way back at the top. So we'll put that there. We don't need the cart, so I'm going to delete that. Oh, we should hide the cart if it's empty. You could do that. That's fine. I'm going to delete that because I don't want that. Yeah, the on sale items. Save on these hot items. We could do that, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to collapse that. I'm going to delete that as well. And recently viewed items, we're only going to need, I'm going to do the last 3 of those because there was a lot in there. Recently viewed products, we'll put that up there. Okay, so that's a little tidier. Now let's refresh. I want to see how much height, so you can see we're way longer than the actual page itself. So again, I like to balance things so that we don't have a lot of wasted real estate. So I'm just going to save that and refresh. Okay, so now we don't have enough items on here. So we could play around with that. Now, one thing you could add, and this is something I do recommend you kind of do, is create a banner. So maybe we'll create a banner over here advertising one category, like dog training items on sale right now, or something like that. There's all sorts of options. Another really cool little tactic. You know what? Let's actually do that. Let's do that real quick. I'm going to just measure how wide this is. So it's about 350 wide. Okay, I'm using a little measuring tool here that's built into the Mac, but let's just take it on faith, 350 pixels wide. Let's make a really quick banner. So what we'll do is we'll just do this. We'll make it 350 by 350. I'm going to show you a little ninja trick here. So here's just a blank template, shall we say. What we'll do is just trying to think, what category shall we feature? So we'll go back to the home page real quick and see if we could just pick up a product of some sort. I'm trying to think what would be cool to advertise. Boom. Actually, you know what? Let's take a dog gate as an example, or find something really cool. Now I'm trying to look at something that is ad worthy. Okay, you know what? Not seeing anything there. Let's go to the next page. But you can see how over the just this last little time, I mean, I could have done this way faster than I've explained it. I mean, right now we're under 2 hours of creating this store, but we've got a lot of great stuff in here, and it's really, really taking shape. In fact, I just noticed on my other screen that I am being retargeted for a lot of dog products right now because the system is doing what it's meant to do, which is really cool. That is the whole purpose of this. You know what? Let's take that. That's actually a nice little looking thing. I'm trying to find something, like I say, that's on a nice background that is ad worthy. So I'm going to copy that image, and I'm going to paste that in here. Okay, cool. Let's do that. I want some space for some text, so we'll take that, and I'm just going to create a little orange section like that. So I'm going to put that on a new layer. I'm just going to show you, you're getting a free Photoshop lesson here while we're doing this, which is kind of cool. Okay, so I'm going to choose my highlight color, which is this bright orange. So we'll do that. Okay, so I'm doing that on a new layer. Now I'll just grab some text. I actually have the same font, so I'll just do okay, Open Sans. Just picking a nice bold kind of font. Save 50% on carriers this weekend only. I'm just using this as an example, okay? Now, I actually put that on the wrong layer, so there it is. And again, we'll just take that and we'll make it 2 lines. Now, obviously, I'd want to kind of have it going to, actually have some real, if I was doing a sale or if there was a sale on a particular item. Now, again, I've got to make the background, like I mentioned, white. That way I can move and slide things around until they fit. So I'm just going to make that white. Okay, there's the background. So that way I can slide my graphic over the top of it until it kind of fits. We'll make it just a little smaller because I've got to make it like that. Okay. We'll stretch the orange until it suits. Something like that. Okay. A little more. Okay, about that. Okay, then I'll just scale this down just a little bit. Now, okay. Now this is very rough. And like I said, you might want to hire someone on Fiverr to do you a few different graphics or highlight a specific category. You get the idea. I'm just doing this very, very quickly to demonstrate a point. Okay, so I'm going to just, whoops, don't want to do that. That's the wrong one. I want to stroke the inside of that. We'll put I want to put a 1 pixel outline around that, so we'll do inside 1 pixel, and that'll just give a little bit of a background. Actually, I need to now, did that on the wrong layer. Okay, let's do that up here. I'll stroke that again on the inside. Color FF6600, so it's the same color as the header, and there we go. Okay, so we've made a very quick banner, and we'll just do that. Call that banner 1. Not very imaginative. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll come in here. I'm going to show you a really cool little plugin. This is a very cool little trick, so you can have a lot of products on a page and you can do something very cool. So I'm going to go here, add new, and we're going to use a little plugin called Fixed Widget. This is a very cool little trick that gets a lot of attention, and I'm going to share this little nugget of gold with you. And I've got to find the actual plugin. There we go. This is it here. Q2W3 Fixed Widget. One of the stupidest names of a plugin, but it's one of my favorite plugins as well. So we'll just add that. And what we're going to do here, activate that. This adds a very special feature to your widgets. It allows them to follow you no matter where you scroll. So you never end up with dead space on your page. So where I'll come over here and go to widgets, I'll open that up in a new page. So I have to find the settings for this particular thing. Okay, fixed widget options. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go here. We're going to, first of all, we have to add the image that we just created to the media library. So we're just going to upload that image. So that's now added. We're going to need the URL for that. So we'll just edit that and we'll just grab the URL. You need to save that or copy it to your clipboard. And then we're going to go over here to where the archive sidebar is. Okay. And what we're going to do is going to add a text widget. Just like this. And we'll just do a little bit, we have to do a little bit of HTML. I'm going to link it. So image source equals, okay. Okay, it's as simple as that, and then link that to wherever you want it to go. Okay, so say for example, let's go grab the dog crates category. Maybe that's the one you want to put them to. So we'll copy that link, copy link address, come over here, put that in the link. And there are other widgets you could do this with. I'm a little more, how do I put it, hands-on, shall we say. You can actually get a widget called the image widget or something like that. You can download it, but we'll just copy that in. But the one thing you'll see here is this fixed widget option that's just emerged. Now, what we're going to do, actually, we're not going to put that at the top. Let's put that underneath because we want that to follow us down the page. So let's, now that we've got that, we'll load up and go to one of the categories. I'm going to show you what we've just done by doing this. So we've got this item here. Now you see this? Watch what, oh, actually, you know what? We need an item with more products. After doing all that. So let's go over here. We'll add to the themes option, if I can remember where the heck that is, theme options. Instead of 15, let's add, say, multiples of 3, so let's say 21 items. And we'll go over here, 21 items. Okay. So this is, as I say, this is something that you can use to avoid long sidebar issues. Because what happens is, as it shows products in your cart, watch what happens. The actual banner follows you down the page. Now you can see here we got a problem because it's overlapping here. And we want to add a little bit of a margin there. So that's why I pulled up this option. And margin top, we want to add something like maybe 50. So we'll just see. And again, we'll just do that. And we are good to go. Let's see. Almost. We need just a little more. Little more. Okay, so let's try 80. I want to get a nice flow so it's nice and clean and it doesn't look like it's stuck on. So we are literally at the end of this. We just need this one last thing and I'm happy to open the doors on this bad boy. So again, just I wanted to show you placing an advert or an ad on your site or a banner. So let's see, there we go. That's kind of right. You know, I'm even still a little bit of that OCD, ADHD or ACDC, whatever you want to call it. Let's throw a little bit more padding in there. Add another 20 pixels. Believe me, I'm sure my wife would be laughing at me when she's seeing how pedantic I am about making these last few pixels. My wife's an award-winning graphics artist, and I drive her nuts with my pixel perfection. In fact, she's giving me a wry grin right now. She's sat across the desk from me as I'm recording this video because she knows it's true. Okay, so there we go. Let's have a look. There we go. That's nice. That's looking nice. So again, we just get that little extra sexiness. We could put a banner across the top as well, whatever we want to do. But, you know, our store is looking pretty darn good. So between this, let's actually go into one of the products and see what we're looking like on the inside. There we go. Descriptions, reviews, related products. Let's actually now add an item to our cart. This is kind of like the final test. So we've added it to the cart. There's our items in our cart. Let's actually go and view our cart. Make sure everything's good. And when you consider where we've been and where we've come to, everything's looking good here. I'm really happy with this. That's good. Let's proceed to the checkout. Make sure everything is proceeding as we expect. Boom. Continue. And Amazon Authority is doing its thing. We're reacting and acting with Amazon right now. There we are. Let's add those items to the cart. And boom, there's the items in our cart, plus all the stuff from my zombie store that I was playing around with earlier on. $333 worth of items. I could proceed to checkout, buy all those items, and I am good to go. So there you go, guys. We have a very beautiful, very sexy little store, all doing what it should be doing, allowing us to rock on, start making some sales, and in the next video we'll actually do some final just kind of SEO tweaks and get ready to actually start promoting our store. So that's it for this video. This video was a monster. There was a lot in here as we actually took all of the cool stuff that we did with Amazon Authority and then with everything else kind of made it all beautiful. And hey, you're ready to go. So crack through this and don't be afraid about going through this a few times, tweaking things, playing around with things. I mean, you can literally replicate what you saw here if you wanted to. It's entirely up to you. But you can make any layout you like. I mean, I've just used this because it's easy flow and works very well. But hey, you know, the options and choices are yours. You can do absolutely anything. And with Profit Builder Lite, there are so many different ways that you can go into this. So again, what we're going to do in the next video is talk about promotion, set up a few last things, kind of little tweaks and adjustments. We're going to add some caching and get this bad boy out there. So I'll see you in the next video in a few moments.